what I want you to know about these three pillars of start position is that I'm going to give another percentage here, 99%, and I'm only saying 99 just in case there's that one guy or girl out there doing something different. 99% of the elite lifters that I look at over and over and over again are doing these three things. And what I want you to understand as well is that they are doing these three things no matter how tall they are, no matter how short they are, no matter what their limb length proportions are, no matter if they're from China, no matter if they're from Russia, America, Cuba, it doesn't matter. We have this idea that there are all these different techniques, that there are these unique techniques that different people need to have. But if we break it down and see what is common amongst all the elite lifters, and what I've found that's best for myself as well, and what I've found is best for most all the athletes that I've come across through all these years, they're doing three of the exact same things. And everything else that people are seeing as different are nothing but byproducts. So they're insignificant in their attempts to adjust those areas. Does that make sense? Number one is midfoot pressure. We talked about that earlier with the squat. That means that there's even distribution between the heel and between the base of the big toe and the little toe. The toes need to be gripping the ground as well. So we need that solid midfoot pressure in the start position. Number two, the number two thing is very debatable, and you know, I've had a lot of questions on it through this week because it's different than what a lot of people are taught. It's bar touching the shins. One, before we dig into that, understand that these three things all work together, right? I need midfoot, I need bar touching, and then I need the next one that I'm going to talk about. But very commonly, you'll hear athletes and coaches in the community say, I need you to start with the bar 1 or 2 inches away from the body. I've even heard 6, 8 inches. And one, that makes no sense to me, right? But number two, if we can set up with the bar as close to our body as possible, meaning it's touching, you know, simply put, that's an advantage, okay? What you're gonna have to do if you set the bar away from your body is you're going to have to move it back in. And I'll tell you, with the weights that I snatch and clean and jerk, I'm not strong enough to pull it back in. So if that's right, then I have to cheat a little bit. I have to put the bar up against my shin so I can lift as much weight as I can. But again, let's go back and look at the elite lifters. When I go back and I examine these things, and this is something that I do on a regular basis, you know, what I did here recently is I looked at the super heavyweights. Because one thing that I hear a lot is that my coach told me to set the bar 6 inches from my shins because I'm 6'1". And that's very meaningless to me because the tallest elite lifter that I've ever seen, who is maybe the best super heavyweight of all time at this point, Olympic champion, current world record holder, his first name is Lasha. I don't even know how to say his last name, but Lasha, right? He's 6'6", all right? So he'll roll the bar back in, and as soon as the bar touches his shins, that's when he goes, all right? Now let's take that back down to an athlete that's 5 foot tall, that's in the smallest weight class, that has completely different limb length proportions than Lasha. He's doing the same thing. He's lifting with the bar touching his shins, and then everything in between. So if all these elite lifters from different heights, different body types are lifting with the bar touching their shin, we should give some value to that. We should think about that's probably what we should all be doing, right? Number three is that I want you to put your shoulders directly on top of the bar. Okay, what does that mean? Well, one, when it said I want your shoulders in front or on top of the bar, what I found is that athletes will usually go too far in front. So I started saying I want your shoulders directly on top, and that would usually put them right where I wanted them. And whether it's worded that way or not, the coaches that are saying shoulders in front are probably looking for the same thing that I am, all right? When I mean shoulders on top, I want you to think about the shoulder directly from the side, okay? Anatomy-wise, we have the front delt, we have the middle delt, and we have the rear delt, okay? I want the rear delt directly in line with the bar, okay? That's what I mean when I say shoulders on top. Let's take a look at this demonstration here. If my shoulders are any further in front of the bar than that, what happens? So let's say I've got midfoot pressure. If this is the bar, it's touching my shins, but I'm gonna stretch my shoulders in front because that's what I've been told to do. Maybe I've been told I need to put my hips higher. Maybe I've been told I need to create tension on my hamstrings for it to be a good start position. For whatever reason, my shoulders are in front of the bar. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna lift up about 1 inch and relax. What happens? The kettlebell swings way away from my body. And that's exactly what the bar is gonna wanna do when you lift from that position. So it's gonna be trying to go in this direction that means your body's gonna have to follow it, or you're gonna have to fight to pull it back in proper alignment, all right? Now, if I put my shoulders directly on top or rear delt in line with the bar and lift and relax, what happens? The kettlebell now swings out a slight amount, right? What it does is it swings out to directly underneath the middle delt. So why wouldn't we just set up with the bar in line with the middle delt? Well, because that would lower our hips a little bit and it would make it a little bit too hard or harder to create a good position at above the knee, okay? This is also about creating a position that will allow for the strongest, highest potential combination of the whole body. If your hips are too low, then what are you using? More quads, okay? If your shoulders are really far in front and your hips are really high, then what are you using? More hamstrings and low back, okay? Now there are some athletes that are stronger from a high hip position if they deadlift that way all the time, but that doesn't mean it's the position of greatest potential. And for Olympic lifts, we're looking for the best combination of the whole body in the start position that you establish for yourself when you set up with midfoot, bar touching, and shoulders on top. Make sense?